All right, so this is part 5. And in this, so let's just go over what we did last time. So last time we added this attack so that when we are moving, we can attack. Next thing we're going to do is add an attack for when we are flying. So just exit out of there, open up our character, and so yeah, I'm going to go into the project settings. I've still got them open, and I'm just going to change the name of this just to attack, because we are going to, I think we're going to use the same button input for this as well, but we'll just check to see where we are, if we're in the air or not. So edit Dragon BP. Okay, so if walking is true, if it's false, we'll do another branch. This branch is checking to see if flying is true. And if flying is true, then we just want to, have do an attack, just like we did here. So let's go and see what attack we want. So I might have to pause the video again because I'm rubbish at finding the right animation. Now, there should be a flying animation where he's in the air and he's like breathing fire. Or he's shooting out like a fireball. So I am going to pause the video just while I find the right animation. All right, so I found the animation. It's called Spit Fireball. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. When we're in the air, we're going to allow you to spit a fireball. So let's get this animation set up. So let's go into the animation locomotion graph. And we want to be, in fact, before we do that, let's go into the Dragon BP and set this up, okay? So we want attack on the ground. We also want attack in the air. And that wants to be a Boolean as well. We want to drag that in and set it to be true. Okay, that's going to be true. And we also want to set, we want to do a delay. So let's find out how long our animation is. So again, we'll have to come back here in a bit because he doesn't shoot the fireball straight away. We'll have to put in another delay and then fire the fireball, but that should be fine. But for now, it's 0.8 seconds. So we'll set our delay to be 0.7. And then we'll set that to be false. Right, again, we'll have to come back here in a minute and tidy this up. And we'll have to create a fireball and stuff. Right, so we'll carry on with this. I'm jumping all over too much. So now we're here. And when we're in the flying state, then we want to drag off and we want to add a state. And this is attacking while flying. And then we always want to transition back from that into flying. So there we go. And the transitional rules, we'll need to do the event graph first. So go to the Dragon BP, compile to make sure we can get access to those. I'm going to close that skeleton down. And then I'm going to drag out of here. What did I call it? It was attack in at the air. So get attack in the air. Promote that to a variable. Call this air attack. Plug this in our long line. And then we'll go back to our locomotion graph and then we can set up these transitional rules. So air attack, drag in, get, drag out, equal Boolean. There we go. True. And then we can do the transition. For the way back, it's just air attack, get, equal Boolean, false this time. And then plug that into there, hit compile. Right. That should work. So we go up into the air, we press the attack button, and nothing happens because we haven't added the animation, any animation. But it should have just gone into some kind of weird T-pose when it didn't get an animation. So I am thinking something's not working here. So let's just go into the attacking animation here, browse assets, and it's called Spit Fireball. Spit Fireball. Okay, and this time we are going to stop the sort of movement so that you have to fire. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Hit compile, and then let's see this not work for some reason. Press the attack button. Okay, nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? Let's have a look. No, I didn't want to go into the sky sphere. Warning here. Event reference unknown, action attacking on the ground for input attack on the ground. I've changed the name of that to attacking, so maybe I just have to change it to. I think that's the problem, is that we changed the name of that, so now it doesn't know what it's doing. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to do anything off the released. Hit compile. So it attacks on the ground. Press E. It attacks in the air. But for some reason, it's not transitioning back. So let's have a look at that. So on the transition back from attacking while in air to flying, we have it set to false. Yeah. So, but are we setting air attack to be false? Air attack. Ah, look, we didn't untick it. So there's the problem there. So hit compile. Hit play. Attack on the ground. E to fly. Attack in the air. All right, I'm looking forward to this now. So let's go and do the fun bit of putting in the fireball. So I'm going to go to my back to here, and I have some. I have a really cool pack for this, and I think it might be this advanced magic pack. I think that's it. So I'm just going to add that to project. So character tutorial, add to project. Let's just see. It might be this one though. We added the stylized combat pack to the last one. It isn't that. I know I've got one of these that have got fireballs in it. And I'm pretty sure it's this one. So it's just installing that now. Let's check the time on the video. Oh, we've got plenty of time. So let's go to the content folder. Go to the advanced magic. Go to the particles. And this isn't the one. Okay? So this isn't the one. Right, so I'm going to pause the video until I find the right one. Okay, so it was the advanced Magic FX12 pack. Okay, I'll just show it you. It was this one with the little sword icon and the swoosh. Not this one, but they're both great. They're both great. I use them all the time. So we have a fireball particle, and we have a fire hit effect. So when it hits something, we can have that explode into a fireball. So let's get on with that. So the first thing we need to do is create a new folder, call it blueprints. This is where we're just going to store all those random blueprints. We shouldn't have too many. Create a blueprint class, actor, and call it fireball. And then double click on it to open it up. And then what we want to do, we want to add a projectile movement. Projectile movement. And then we want to add a particle system like that. Okay, and now for the particle system, what we want to do is come over here where it says template. And then if we go back to our, this one, particles, and then click, no, that's the wrong one. It's 12, not 13. Particles. And then if we just click on the particle we want, which is this shot fire, click on that, and then hit this arrow that's next to the template, and it'll pop that in there for us. Will it? Yeah. There we go. Okay, and then it's going to compile the shaders and do all that stuff. Now, I think we need to rotate this 90 degrees. So we'll do that now. And then we'll go to the projectile movement and we'll start setting it up. So it doesn't want to be too fast. I'm going to set it to 1,000. And then max speed to be 1,000. Now I'm going to turn the gravity scale on because we do want it to fire down. So I'm going to set the gravity to leave it at 1 for now. And then if we go here to simulate, so just zoom out a bit and hit simulate, you will see the fireball, what it's going to do. Okay. We can come around and play with this in a minute. But what do we want to do with this? We want to spawn it. Okay, so let's go to our, close that. Let's go to our Dragon BP and go to the viewport. What we want to do is we want to stick an arrow essentially in his mouth so that we can use that arrow as the basic point from where he's going to launch from. All right, so you might find placing things while this animation is playing really frustrating. So what you can do is you can just get rid of that by coming to anim class and hitting none. Oh. And then compiling. All right, and then that's going to change. And let's see, now it's going to be much easier for us. Oh, super shiny. Much easier for us to place this. So go to the mesh, add component, arrow. We're going to call this fireball location. We're going to place that in his mouth. We're also going to rotate it so it's facing the correct way, 90 degrees. And then we're going to place that so it's nicely in his mouth. Now, this wants to be inherited to the mesh. So just drag it on there, make sure it is inherited. I think it was already. Okay, so now when we go back, click on the mesh, go to anim class, go to Dragon anim BP, and we see, well, why isn't that arrow should be moving along with him? Okay, I think the thing what we need to do to get this to work properly is go into the skeleton. So content, Desert Dragon, mesh, skeleton, and then click on his mouth. So here, ponytail. Oh, we want his mouth. Tongue 2, tongue 3. Yeah, so we'll go on tongue 4, right click, and then we're going to add a socket. And then we're going to call it, we're going to rename that socket fireball spawn location. Okay. And then we're going to place that exactly where we want it to be. So it looks fine. Okay. And then we're going to go back to the Dragon BP. We're going to click on him. We'll go this time, instead of adding a arrow, we're going to go to the mesh and we're going to add a scene component. And we're going to call that fireball spawn location. And then over here, we're going to come to the parent socket. We're going to come to magnifying glass. And then here, look, fireball spawn location. Then you can see it's in his mouth nicely there. And then we're going to attach the arrow to that. So now grab an arrow. And we'll call it fireball spawn. Okay. Now, what that will do as well is that it will make it shoot down. We want that. We want it to be shooting in the direction he's facing. I think that'll happen anyway. So let's go over here into the event graph. What is this doing? So this is doing the attack. So let's drag that over. See, attacks. Keep ourselves nice and organized. Get rid of that event tick. We don't need it. Okay, so we've already got, so when we press the button, and we want to spawn, so in between here, remember that's the length of the animation. So we want to spawn actor from class. The actor we want to spawn is the fireball. have called it fireball underscore BP. But I didn't. And the spawn transform is this, the fireball spawn. So we drag that in and we get world transform. We plug that into the spawn transform. And then you'll know in a minute we're going to have to come back in here and put a delay, because you'll see if we go to the animation, we've got content, desert dragon, animations, and this one. Nope, not that one. This one? No, not that one either. It's called Spitfire Fireball. So here we go. It's this one. Oh, he's on the ground doing that. Oh, come on now. Well, why can't we find it? Oh, I hate this. All right, I'm just going to pause the video. Okay, so I found it, right? We're going to have to get through this quick because we're running out of time. So what we need to do is we need to see where it actually shoots. So let's see, how long is it until he shoots? So there, we can spawn it at that point. And that is exactly 0.3. So go back over to our dragon. Change that to 0.4. Control CV, and we'll put that extra over here. So 0.3. And we'll plug that in. And so there'll be a bit of a delay, and it'll actually look like, so compile, actually look like he's doing the right thing. So boom, okay. So we've got him firing a fireball. Now we want to do a bit of work with that. It isn't exactly how I want it to be, but it isn't a million miles off. So have a look from the front. Yeah, that looks really cool. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one where we'll start just polishing everything up and start finishing off.